Hey, welcome back to the Sail Prairie Sound Virtual Regatta Sailing Lessons. Today we're on Lesson 6, and we're going to be talking about how to have a good race. Last week we talked about how to have a good start, and now we're going to take that one step further and hopefully give you a bit more of a complete knowledge and skill set on virtual regatta. With that, let's get into Lesson 6 of the Sail Prairie Sound Virtual Regatta Sailing Lessons, how to have a good race. So my 3 keys to a good race would be: try and stay on the favored tack for as much as possible, stay in clean air, and make sure you're on the part of the course that has the most pressure, so that's the part with the most wind. So right off the bat, before I start the race, I'm going to be thinking, where can I be in clean air? And since I'm in a race with no other boats right now, I know that there won't be any dirty air anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. But I can look to see which side of the course I think is going to have more wind. So I'm looking, and there we go, right there. If you see on the top left corner, it seems that the wind is starting to pick up over on the left side of the course. So as soon as I start this race, yeah, there it goes. You can see that there's darker water on the little mini map in the top left on the left side of the course. So I'm going to try and stay on this side of the course for as much as possible. And once I've moved out of that dark patch, I'm going to tack right back into it because I'm trying to stay in the most pressure, because that's going to allow you to go the fastest on the race course and give you an advantage over your opponents. So while I am in the most pressure, I can see on the top of my screen that I wasn't on the favored tack, and now you can see my little wind indicators in the green. So I'm trying to stay on the favored tack as much as possible. So if you don't have a premium account, it can be a little bit more difficult to figure out which is the favored tack. But if you look at the top right, I think I'll circle it right there, you can see what degrees the wind is hitting your sails. So that will give you an indication of whether the wind is shifting to the left or to the right. So I'm heading on the downwind once again, and I can see right over here on the left side of the course there's a lot more wind. So I tack over, or jive I should say, over to that side. And now I'm just going to carry that dark patch of wind all the way across to the finish line. And that's an example right there of a pretty good race. So to recap, 3 keys to a good race. So one is going to be obviously try and stay on the favored tack. So try and stay on the tack that gets you closest to the upwind mark, or if you're going downwind, the one that gets you close to the leeward mark or the finish line. 2, you want to stay in the most pressure, so the part of the course where you see the darkest water or the most wind, and you can find that up in the mini map on the top left of the screen. And then 3, which I think is most important over everything in virtual regatta, is try and stay in clean air at all times. So a couple things: when you're in dirty air, it's going to force your boat to not be able to point as high to the wind as possible. So you're going to be pointing further away from your velocity made good than all of the other boats. And you're just going to be going slower as well, usually 0.1 or 0.2 knots slower. I was sailing a race the other day, and there was a really good example at the windward mark of me giving a guy dirty air and then eventually going on to win the race. And I think this gives a pretty good example of what exactly the dirty air does to your boat if you sail into it, and how you can use it to your advantage. So I'm the boat right here in light blue, and the boat that's trying to get past me here is the navy blue boat. So right here I'm sailing up to the ley line, and I have 2 options. I can either tack right on the ley line and be a little bit under this boat, or I can hop on top of him, and you're going to see the little wind particles coming off my sail when I hit resume here. But he gets a whole bunch of dirty wind and almost misses the windward mark. So here we go. I end up tacking right on top, and check out the dirty air that he gets right here. So the navy blue boat starts to bear off a whole bunch because he just can't head up enough. And he's bearing off, and then has to just head up and make the windward mark, and it gives me about 15 meters of an advantage. And if we play this race all the way through, you're going to see that I really needed all 15 of those meters, because it ends up being a very, very close finish. So I actually make a little bit of a mistake here when I round the windward offset mark. And I don't give myself any room to try and get out of his dirty air. So you can see right now, I'm having to head up a whole bunch because he is completely covering me and doing a really good job on the downwind and slowly gaining on me. And I can see at this point I can't just hold my position because he's going to catch up to me eventually. You can see right there it's 30 meters, 28 meters. and it just keeps going down. I'm completely in his dirty air. You can see the wind shadow right there, and then finally I decide, okay, I'm going to try and head up a little bit, try and get out of the dirty air. So it just becomes an absolute battle from here on out. I'm getting a taste of my own medicine at the upwind mark, as he's doing a really good job. And now the other thing I have to be a little bit of aware of is, remember the leeward windward rules from a couple lessons ago. So I'm making sure, because he does have leeward on me, and you see he's trying to get up to me there, and then just at the last second, not quite able to get it on me, and I'm able to finish the race. But a really good job by the guy behind me to keep me in cover. But as you can see, a pretty good example there of exactly what you want to try and do to other boats and what you want to try and avoid in terms of clean air. Thanks for tuning in to the Sail, Pray, Sound virtual regatta sailing lessons. Today we talked about how to have a good race. I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable with virtual regatta. As always, throughout all of these virtual regatta sailing lessons, I'll see you on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at the Sail, Pray, Sound virtual regatta race night.